And it's time.
Hello, welcome back to the channel, getting you on the grind and improving your mind in every single live stream video that we do.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
guys, before we begin on today's topic, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. So, today we're going into some all gains history.
Oh,
A
yeah.
little bit of that, a little bit of
Pick
advice, a
pick
little
up
bit
the
of
history
here and
books.
there. So, basically, how we started improving ourselves in a healthy way. So, on the internet, there are
Internet.
so many influencers now and videos telling you how you can become better. So now we're gonna take a crack at it in one live stream. So it all started. I mean, I guess like back in high school.
It all started when we were born.
I mean, I was the fatter guy in high school. I was actually like right now the camera does not give the best like you can't really see, but I've actually lost a lot of weight compared to like what I was like in high school and stuff. So in high school, I was always the guy that would drink the other kid's chocolate milk, mainly
Yes.
him,
Yes.
because the chocolate milk would come with the
Free.
lunch
For free.
for free, right? And I like free stuff. I always have, like even as a kid, I always like free stuff. So when Mike would sit at my lunch table, because we know each other from high school back in the day, Mike would come with the pizza and the chocolate milk, and he would just eat the pizza and bring his own water. So I would drink his chocolate milk because I'd just be a scavenger like that. So I used to weigh a little bit more back in high school due to just not having any knowledge of nutrition. Now nutrition is only one part, so we need to remember the concept of self-improvement is not only physical but it's also mental and spiritual. It's in every single way possible. And you'll get so many different advice tips on the internet, the interwebs, trying to tell you what to do to improve. But the truth is, everyone has their own way of doing so. So
And
like
there's also people not to sorry to interrupt you, but there's also people that do these types of things because they want to either push their own agenda on certain things, or they want to somehow make like a profit off of you to, they're trying to make you, improve yourself, but it's just to improve their wallet size. We've seen a lot of that around this space as well.
right.
And not to shame those people, but it's just to show you the bigger picture on what we do specifically.
The thing that kind of makes us, I'd like to think it makes us different is I think we're one of the most authentic people that I've noticed because like everything that we post about, we talk about, I've experienced in my own life. So is Mike. We've been on this journey for years now, years.
Years.
I've known Mike for many years, and Mike's known me, and we've been just trying different things. Especially, I mean, you can go back to oldest video, it's been like 4 years now. We're
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
everything we
for
can to try to make this YouTube channel work, and of course, we are going through trial and tribulation, errors and success. I mean, some videos of ours get like maybe 2,000 views, and some get two. So
it
it,
happens. But
it,
like the a lot of the videos that we put out so many videos, and we do so many different things. We talk about so many different topics. We cover so many different things, and a lot of the stuff that we talk about is stuff that, like Andrew said, that we've either experienced or something that where we know someone who experienced it, or we're in the process of working through ourselves, and we're trying to go through it. And we just try to put out these videos to just find somebody to help, because someone is probably going through the same stuff that we're going through, or something very similar. And sometimes people aren't yet, but they will at some point. And so them being out there is good for people to just stumble upon, and to hopefully give them some good quality advice, or something to propel themselves into something better.
I'd like to think that we're like the average American, but we're always trying to be the best versions of ourselves every day, and it's not always easy to do. It can be hard. It can be, because what people don't understand is that the journey never ends, never stops. You can never stop learning. There's always a master. There's always an apprentice, and no matter what field, some way, somehow, somewhere, there's always something that you must learn and overcome. It doesn't just stop at one point. It just keeps going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, back in high school, I discovered like the kind of keto and I lost some weight. And then I told Mike about it. Mike found a more carnivore style approach. He lost some weight. So that's the nutrition side of things in short and summary. But we did it in a way that we had to experiment. We tried different things and we found different solutions to
That
different
work best
problems.
for us. That work best for, because Andrew and I don't have the same body type. We we're
We do
definitely the
not.
same body type.
Do not.
And but we went through a similar process. So Andrew found keto, and he was doing that for, I think you were doing it for 6 months before I started, before you started, trying to be like, hey, you should do that, because while he was losing weight, I was gaining weight because I just kept eating the shit that I wanted to eat, and I just didn't give a fuck. um and so he was like, yeah, you should totally try this out, and we should start working on this. And I was like, it's interesting. I was like, tell me more. Like, explain it to me more. Like, what can I eat? What can't I eat? What am I allowed to do? What am I not allowed to do? So he started explaining. He's like, you can't eat French fries. I was like, that is sad. And he's like, you can't have pancakes. I was like, well, that is more sad. He's like, but you can have steak. I was like, oh. And he's like, and you can have eggs. I was like, oh. And he goes, and you can have bacon. I was like, okay. And I was like, can I have butter? And he's like, of course you can. I was like, all right, you're getting a lot of my interest right now. You are intriguing me very much so, sir. And so he's like, yeah, here, he's like, come to me tomorrow or whatever it was. And he's like, we're going to talk more about this. We'll get it in depth. We'll try to get something for you to start. And I was like, okay, cool. So I think we went to ShopRite, and we were just like, yeah. Like, I think, cause I remember picking up, we picked up like those macadamia nuts, as like a little snack thing. And I remember getting the apple cider vinegar to try out that detox thing, which oh man, that stuff sucks. But I mean, it worked. It did a good job. Like, it's a good, it helped, kickstart like my fat burning process. And yeah, then I just started doing keto. And he just told me, yeah, it was like, yeah, just eat mostly this stuff, just get rid of all this stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So I started doing that, and it was doing pretty good. I was doing fine. And then he's like, no. And then I was like, oh wait, like, I don't have to have veggies if I don't want to, right? And he's like, I mean, I guess you don't have to. He's like, it'd probably be best if you did. And I was like, nah, I don't feel like it. So I just only ate meat and eggs, and had avocado oil. And if I had the macadamia nuts, I would have the macadamia nuts or whatever.
Right.
And I tried doing stuff like that, and it did wonders. That you could see all that progress and stuff on our Instagram. I have the link in the description. You can go down and go onto our Instagram and go all the way to the bottom. You'll see my progression through that there.
Yeah, and the reason why Mike was able to change his nutrition habits was because he looked at the glass half full. He looked at, how can I use this to my advantage? What foods can I eat to make myself healthier instead of the things I cannot eat? So he just focused on what he could do instead of not. He had that optimism. A lot of people, especially nowadays, they lack the optimism. They mostly lean in towards pessimism, and
Yeah.
that drives them down a dark path most of the time. But a lot
Yeah,
of
because
people,
like I could have been like, you could have said you can't eat French fries, and I would have been like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna give that up. Like because people will do that. I know people, and if you're watching, it's you that I've told that was like, hey, listen, you can't have this. You're not gonna be able to eat this, and then they go, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I can't give that up. And I was like, well, you're stuck. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. But if you, like Andrew said, had more optimism and looked at look at this situation as a glass half full, you can see the things that you can eat and improve, and really dive into those types of foods, and you can expand your palate within those specific foods. Like, you can do different types of variations of like dishes with like those types of foods, and make it very interesting. Because some people are just like, when people tell me a lot, when that they say that they tried to do keto, but they felt like it was too restrictive. And I'm like, uh, no, it's not really that restrictive. I mean, all you're doing is getting rid of a lot of the bad stuff, and then you can replace it with a lot of the good stuff. All you got to do is just look and see what the basics are, and then just improve yourself upon that. It's not that hard. I don't think it's that restrictive.
right, and self improvement goes way beyond nutrition. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of you guys, you are on a dark path, and a lot of that is part of, it's like sedation, it's bad influences from your friends and family and people that do not serve you any purpose, but to distract you from yourself and your life's goals. A lot of people live on distractions, and they live in fantasy land their whole life, and then they never wake up until like their final moments.
Yeah, and they don't even realize it. They didn't even realize that they were doing it. A lot of people, they don't realize that they're actually being sedated, but they are. and they can't help themselves but to be sedated.
And a lot of people do not live the life they want because they do not put effort into trying to find a way to live their own life. I mean, a lot of guys, first of all, they live the life according to other people's agendas. So like a lot of guys, they either live for women or they live for their parents or someone. They don't really live for themselves. That's why we have a lot of weak men out here, and it's a very sad world. But
It is.
a lot of people do not take the time to close their eyes, maybe meditate for a little bit. They don't do healthy habits. They do not make their day. They don't make their day worth it because they don't invest in their time and the right energy and the right tactics. So there's so many ways that you can utilize self-improvement skills. I mean, there's so many books you could read on it. There's so many things we can tell you at once. We can go hours and hours and hours and days and months and years and millennia just talking about different things you could do. So summarizing would be a little bit easier, but each one of you have to figure out a strategy to make it work for you. So different people for like let's talk about nutrition again. Different diets work for different people. We have to find out what works for you. Except veganism, I don't think anyone should be a vegan. I think it's dumb, personally.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion, though. What the fuck do I know? I'm not a scientist, right? But how do you guys? You always give up before you even begin. You don't even think it's possible, and when you live in that pessimistic view, like if it's not possible, you live in sort of a black pill view of the world. You're never gonna make a change. A lot of people. That's why, like the movie trope of like the drunk guy who's down on his luck. That's kind of like a lot of people can relate to that because a lot of people are just they have that negative frame mindset of themselves. If you don't have a positive view of who you are, then you're not going to attack the world in a prideful way. You're not going to go and give it your best. You're going to give it mediocre effort, and you're going to live a mediocre life, which is sad. But doesn't mean you have to live that way, especially if you're watching this video right now. This is like a new chance for you to really evolve. Sometimes everyone needs a certain event to happen to them. They need something to snap something in their brain that says, "Hey, wake up. We need to change things now." Whether you're extremely overweight, extremely unhappy, maybe you're single, alone, fearful of the future, because fear is one of the biggest things that holds people back. Many of you guys are just afraid of yourself. You're also afraid of your surroundings. You're afraid of possibilities that will never happen. And you always make excuses as to why you can never accomplish the things you want. Excuses are something that we noticed that we made, and we stopped making excuses and just did whatever we can do to make the best of our lives. So we work out every day. We do not make an excuse not to. We eat healthy every day because that's the choice we choose to make ourselves better. I choose to date multiple women and enjoy my life because I know what I want in that way, because that's what I choose and it makes me enjoy life. Mike chose to marry a woman and have a good life in that way, and that makes him happy.
Yeah, exactly.
But you guys are afraid to actually live the life you want. And some of you are trapped in all these self-improvement videos and books, and it's like a spiraling. It just never, there's a lot of these content creators, they want you to just watch their stuff and never actually improve, because if you improve, you might not need to watch them anymore.
Yeah. And we're not afraid. We're not afraid to lose viewers that improve themselves. We want our viewers to improve. We want them to do better. But and we won't mind if they say, "Oh, you have helped me so much. Thank you very much. I don't believe what you have, everything that you've helped me with, I now do on my own. I am now self-sustaining. Thank you very much. If I need something that maybe you bring on in the future that I might need help with, I will come back, but otherwise I probably won't need to watch all the time anymore." I honestly, I would be very grateful because at least you came to us, you listened to what we had to say, and you applied what we had talked about, and it has brought you success, and that's all we ask for is for you to just come here, listen to what we say, apply the principles, and apply what we bring to the table, and have it work out, and have you live your life in a better way. And that's all we really want. And I don't mind if we lose viewers for that, because we want people to improve. We want the world to be better. The world is not not okay right now,
No, it's
and it
not.
will continue to not be okay. And so if we can put at least some sort of dent into the universe and make at least men, at the least, at the minimum, men improve themselves and be better, then that's a win. That is honestly a win from us.
Yeah, because what happened to us is basically there was a point in our lives which we realized we were not living the way we wanted and something needed to change. A lot of you have not had that awakening moment yet, and it might not be something that we can do for you. It might just have to happen naturally, and you might have to
Yeah.
maybe lose someone, or a traumatic event might have to happen, unfortunately. But the universe will speak in many ways, and if you're able to listen to what it has to say to you, you might just catch a clue. So the reason, you have to realize that you have to hit a point where where you've just had enough of living, being fat, or you've had enough never having going on a date with a girl, and you have to actually go out and talk to women. Like there has to be a moment where you realize that you have to make a change. And modest research can help. You don't want to overdo research. You don't want to research the hell out of yourself. That way you're just spending all your energy on research. And sometimes the best research is experience, going out and trying different diets and different things that work for you, testing out your body to see what it reacts to best. But many people read too much and they act too little. That's the big problem. So a lot of people do not experience life. They read about life, they watch about life, they fantasize about life, but they don't actually live life. Many of you are not actually living. You're just consuming to a point where you actually think you're living in someone else's shoes, which do not it doesn't really happen like that.
Yeah, it's like pseudo living. You're simulating your life in other people and other people's experiences that they've already had. You haven't even had anything, but you're just seeing other people's happen already, and then you just don't you just sit in one spot and you blob up. You turn into a lump on a log pretty much, and you just don't do anything. But if you can, just take that step, go outside, and then maybe I don't even care if you read and say, "Oh, okay, here's this is something that this person said about this. Let me see, maybe in my day I can come across this actual thing happening in my life and maybe I can do something and maybe I can improve myself in that and or whatever way it is." I'm just trying to be very vague because I don't because everything that we talk about can be very vague sometimes. So,
Right.
it's just the amount of doing it. It's the action. A lot of people, they don't put in the work. They don't put in any real action. They might put in, they might put in, very minimal action to where it's more of just like it bypasses them and the event that they could have been part of that could have helped them develop, they just pretty much let it go right by them. It barely touches them. Where if they put in the work, they could have experienced it and they could have went through it and they could have understood and delved and learned from what they had done right and what they had done wrong. A lot of people, they don't do that because they're too afraid of either rejection, and they're also afraid of failure. And the thing is that we cannot always be afraid to take risks and to fail. We need to fail to learn and to become better and to improve ourselves. It's the whole purpose of life and to live in general is to just is to to learn and to grow as people.
And another way you guys can get into self improvement in a healthy way is letting it become natural to you. So you want to develop different habits and you want to make it part of your lifestyle. You don't want to just constantly be researching. Yeah, you want to try different things out, but you don't want to overdo it. So like I'm a very much go with the flow kind of guy, and I adapt certain lifestyles and I try it out. I also try to remain calm. I don't try to overdo things. A lot of you guys overdo the research. You overdo being in your mind a little too much, and you don't actually let it go. A lot of you guys, you want to do a little too much at once, and sometimes you need to balance everything out. Set different times of the day for different things. One part of the day you want to meditate. One part of the day you want to maybe get a workout in. One part of the day you want to meal prep, eat healthy. Another part of the day maybe you want to talk to a couple of girls. Maybe maybe you're shopping and you see one, you want to go say hi. Because why not? Or if you're a girl, eat healthy, get your body right, get your mind right. Try to make some friends. Because men and women are different, right? So they have different ways of improving. Women are not going to go and approach men on the street. It's not going to happen like that.
No,
Sorry, guys, they lied to you. But you have to try to kind of like do what Bruce Lee said, be like water. You want to go with the flow of life. You want to be formless, right? Robert Greene's 48th law, which we're going to do a video on eventually.
we will get
We'll
there.
get there. And you want to be adaptable, because a lot of you guys panic for no reason and you get caught up in your mind and then you get unbalanced and you you go off the deep end, and then that's when you start binging. That's when you start having negative thoughts. That's what, because sometimes it has, I think there is a burnout, but you have to at least be doing some kind of work to burn out in the first place. But it really is, it's a process. You have to understand that things are not going to happen immediately. There's a lot of quick fix videos out there. Just do this and you'll be fine. Like, no, it actually, sometimes it takes years to really harden your mind and actually, you know, evolve. Because like it's like even with like Pokemon, right? Because you guys just play Pokemon, you can't just evolve your Pokemon out of nowhere. You need to get experience in order to do that.
Yeah,
Same thing in real life. You can't just have a quick fix. You need to go through things and try different things, and it takes time. Just like losing weight takes time, building muscle takes time, getting better with the opposite sex in your dating life takes time. Just being overall positive in general takes time. Of course, you can't be happy all the time. That is a lie as well. I
exactly.
think even if you try to, everyone goes through certain phases where they feel down some days they're just not the same as others. And that's okay. You have to understand that the universe comes in different flows, in different stages, in different times, different hormones, even in the body when it comes to human nature. Different things are gonna happen at different times. You cannot always be happy, but you can be consistent, you can be disciplined. You can say, well, I'm not feeling my best today, but at least I got my workout in. At least at least I ate healthy. At least I didn't binge. At least, I didn't hate on anyone today. I didn't disrespect anyone, because a big thing about life is your relationship with others, because we are social creatures, despite the whole meme that's like, I hate people, I hate everyone. Like, no, you don't. Stop.
Stop it.
You have family, you love friends, you love. Stop hating on people. You have to learn to understand human nature. That's another big part of it. Another way, that another way we got into self-improvement in a healthy way is that we really started to try to understand humans. A lot of you guys refuse to understand humans, especially the opposite sex, because you're afraid of learning. And a lot of people don't even want to go. Well, that's one of the reasons, but people don't want to go out there and actually talk to others and actually and try to understand. I try to have a good deal of empathy. Like, if someone comes up to me on the street and says, "Fuck you, I hate you, you're ugly," I'm probably not going to be like, I'm not going to get mad and be like, all right, you might be
Cool.
mentally ill or something. But you, I don't know. I don't really get too reactive, because I think everyone is going through their own thing. I try to be very empathetic. Of course, if someone tries to hit me, I must destroy them, of course. But like, a lot of the times you have to understand people come at you for certain reasons, and everybody goes through bad days, and yeah, it's hard to do. Better said than done.
Mhm.
I understand,
Yeah,
but once again, it's something that you have to stay consistent at. That's why meditating is powerful. Letting your stress out via working out, eating healthy is also very powerful, and hanging out with like-minded people and friends that you can be yourself around and just joke around, have fun, let things out, let thoughts out. So that's why, and having a good friend to talk to about things is also very powerful. A lot of you guys don't have friends, unfortunately, but you can make
sad.
friends. We have videos about that you
Yes.
could talk about. But
Listen, I'll also hold on. Had to get in this water. A lot of I've seen a lot of people. They said they've come to me. They personally come to me and said, "Listen, you guys do a lot of great stuff with nutrition and the doing the diet thing and the working out stuff. Why have you guys started to talk about humans and like human interaction and sexual dynamics and stuff like that?" And I go to them and I say, "Listen, if you learn how to eat right and you learn how to you learn how to be disciplined and go to the gym, how can you how are you going to be able to live the rest of your life? You like that stuff is good on its own, but there's a whole other section of life that goes on that goes with self-improvement. That's all connected. It's all interconnected with each other. Because that you're eating right, you're happy. Because that you're working out, you're happy. You want to be more interactive with other people. How would I be able to interact with other people if I don't know how to do that? How would I be able to talk to a girl if I think that they're cute and I see them over there? How would I do that? Granted, I wouldn't say that I'm doing that right now, clearly, because I have a wife, but it's helping other people know how to do that because clearly no one is exactly who I am. And so I need to help others who are not me that can be better than who they are now. And so because listen, when I started going through this journey and I started, losing weight and I was going to the gym and I was feeling good, I started being more interactive. I was starting to be more, what's that, extroverted, being more extroverted. And I remember when the lockdowns happened and Andrew and I would be running every day, and there'd be a few people that would be running as well outside, and we'd see them as we passed by, and they'd see me, the guy who would usually never talk, who would not look at anybody, who would just go about his day by himself, like doing his thing. You see me running with Andrew, and I'd be like, "Hey, how are you? Good morning," whatever. And Andrew's looking at me like, "What? So you're talking?"
This is a true
And that's
story. This
because
is a true
that's
story.
because the way that I was feeling, how I was eating, the way that we were working out, doing these things, being more disciplined, improving my life was making me a more positive person. It was bringing out, it was eliminating the negativity in my life, bringing up positivity, making me more extroverted, and making me want to talk to people. And so, if I was feeling this way, other people who might have the same feelings that I might be feeling when they start doing this, they're going to want to know these certain things. Maybe this random person, I'm going to just create a guy, Steve. Maybe it's this guy Steve, right? And this guy Steve is starting to eat right. He's watching our videos. He's eating right. He's working out. He's doing good. He's starting to feel more positive. He's looking at life in a better light. And he's out running like how Andrew and I were. Maybe he's out running and he sees a nice girl. He sees a cute girl out there. He's single, and maybe he's looking, and he sees her and he's like, "Oh wow, she's really cute." And he's like, "Oh, maybe I should go over there." And if it wasn't for someone like Andrew and I doing the videos that we've done on sexual dynamics and Andrew's cold approach videos back in the day, that maybe he wouldn't have the courage to go up to this chick and to actually have a conversation with her, and maybe it grows into something. You wouldn't have, if we weren't doing those things. He would just either stare and be dumb, or he would continue on his workout and regret not doing something, right? And so that's why I feel it's good for us as a channel and as a brand to work on all these things, because it all includes in self-improvement of your oneself. All these things add up to you: nutrition, fitness, sexual dynamics, mental health. All these things go into improving yourself. And so I believe that not only focusing on just one thing helps everyone, because it reaches more people. It'll reach someone over there that might need the mental health. It might reach someone over here that might need nutrition. It might reach over here that might need everything, because they need a lot of work. I feel like having all these different things is beneficial, and it helps create one person.
Yeah. And another way you guys can get into self improvement in a healthy way, and of course, we do too. You have to really take time to understand human nature and just the universe itself. I think it's a very important concept that many don't talk about. Like living your day to day life, you have to understand that you can only, I mean, this is a very important plot point. You probably heard it in many books or different videos. You cannot control what others do or what the universe does. You only control your own reactions and your own actions on how you deal with things. Accept things how they are, not for what you want it to be. It's a very important lesson, it's an important skill, but it's one of those things that's a lot easier said than done, because a lot of you people out there, you get very overreactive and over emotional over small things that really should not bother you too much. A lot of people try to control more than necessary, and it blows up in their face. I'm at a point in my life where I know I cannot control what others do and what certain things happen in the world, but I can control how I react to those things. I can control what I'm going to do about certain situations that happen in the world and what I'm going to do next and how I'm going to plan my future. I'm going to be strategic. I'm going to be smart about it. I'm going to be logical. But I know that things are going to happen regardless. So the best thing you could do is go with the flow of things. Be peaceful with yourself. That way you can demonstrate to the world that you're a peaceful man. You just want to be part of the world. You don't want to cause chaos. You don't want to cause trouble. You want to be just part of everything. And it's some deep game when you really start to analyze it. A lot of people don't know because they sedate themselves to the point where they don't even look at the world. They don't even sit and think about life for 1 minute, because they're always in their head. They're always thinking about other things. How could I impress someone? How could I do something? you guys don't really ever go deep into the world, and that's why I think the world will never show you the proper respect because you don't show the proper respect to the world. You'd be surprised the power of walking down the street or to the park or somewhere in nature and just taking a walk, getting some sun, feeling the breeze hit the skin, actually going outside and just walking. You'd be surprised on the little on the good effects that can have on you just by doing simple things like that. People are in their house cooped up too long, just watching meaningless shows and playing video games all day. Very unhealthy, I think. It's great for when you're a kid, kind of, not really. And that's debatable still. But you really need to try to understand the world. And I think that's why I think meditation is powerful because you could really just sit there with your thoughts and try to let things be free. Because I believe in complete freedom from the mind, from the spirit, from everything. And that doesn't go into any religious stuff or anything. I'm just about you as a human actually taking time to really process the world and what it is because people overthink things and they overanalyze and they get too much in their heads and then their mind is a complete mess and they can't focus and they go all over the place and it just turns you into a negative state. For some, that's harder than others, but you really have to try to balance everything out in your life and try to make everything as one. Try to mix yourself in with the world and try to understand it because when you understand something, you fear it less and you're more likely to adapt to it. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. People just don't go outside. A lot of people have stopped doing that, but there's also people that love to go outside. And but I feel like a lot of those people that do love to go outside, they're misguided. They they're very misguided. They see the forest, but they only see it for the trees. They don't see it as the entirety of the forest. They don't see everything. They only see what that's straight in front of them. They can't see everything. And they have the potential to see everything, but they just don't know where to start. And I mean, they're a lot better off than a lot of the people that don't go outside at all and they don't do anything. And I'm just using this as more of an as a just a broad example of just what people do in general. And I'm using Andrew's thing of going into the forest and stuff. But like the people that go out and they walk around, they have the tools. They have them. They don't know what they are. They don't know what they are, but they have them and they're using them without really knowing what they're being used for. And if they, at least learn something about them and understood what the proper uses were, they probably would excel in what they're doing, right? And I hate being super vague, but it just makes it easier for everything. So, like for example, I'll use me as an example. When before I started dating my now wife, right? I was single and I was just doing my thing, but like it was more of me improving myself. And this was way before I started doing keto. This was way before all of that, right? And so, and I didn't know anything about self improvement because I was more of just trying to not let my depression and negativity like control me. So I was just trying to use whatever I could to make me not go down a dark path like that. I was trying to stay as positive as possible and improve upon myself. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't read any books. I didn't look up any videos. I was just doing it. I was just trying to do things and just trying to improve myself on my own. And so I had the tools. I had all the things that I needed that I probably could have figured out from all these books, but I just didn't know what the hell they were called. If I read these books and watched these videos, then I would know what they're called and I would know how to properly use them. But I was just going in blind using a lot of these things. I was just doing it and I was just trying to figure it out. And I had no one to really help me but me because I wasn't going to try to get anybody else in that shit with me because it's my thing to get through. It's my thing to do. And so people out there could it be in the similar situation as me or what were as who I was. They might they might be fighting negativity in their life and they're trying to get positive, but they just don't know what what they're using. They don't know what they're doing to make it that way. They don't know what they're doing to be more positive. They're just doing it because they're just trying their best to do it, right? But they don't know all the proper words and the phrases and the techniques. They don't know all these different things, but they're trying. And that is what we would love. That's what we love to hear, people that are trying, and we want to give them the information that they would need to get through whatever it is they're getting through,
Yeah.
right? But people, then there's the other people that just don't. It's either that they feel like they do need it, that they really need it, they know they need it, but they don't put it in action, or they believe that they're fine, but in reality they're clearly not, and they're
Right.
not going to do anything about it.
And another thing you guys need to realize is that you're going to have bad days. Something no YouTuber wants to tell you, but it's true. Everyone is going to have days where it's just not working out. It just sucks, and you don't. It's just not. You just don't feel good. Nature is taking its swing. The pendulum is swinging. It's okay. But the best thing you can do to improve yourself is just do the things you have to do anyway. Stay consistent with your goals and your plans of life and things you have to do and work you have to get done, things that are going to make your life better no matter what. Sitting and sulking, crying is not going to make things better. So, like today, I mean, I worked my day job and it was a long day and I got a lot of steps in. I did a lot of walking, like 13
Good,
miles of steps today,
good.
right? But before that, I got my workout in. So by the time I went to work, I was already in a good mood because I got my workout in. I felt good. Mike and I were at the gym this morning. So it was, it was good, but it still works. So you got to do what you got to do. I don't really have any bad days at work per se, really. At least not most of the time because I just be doing my thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then after work, Mike and I are planning on what we're going to do a live stream, what we're going to talk about and stuff like that. So right now I'm a little tired, but I am staying consistent. We said we were going to do a live today. We planned it out, discussed what we were going to talk about, and here we are, talking to you guys on the internet and planning our next move. So even though today could have been a bad day because I just went to work, it's just Monday. I'm not having sex with no chick. I don't really have any plans. Nothing's really going on. I'm not hanging out with all the boys together. We're not going out drinking. Nothing crazy. It's just a Monday.
It's
At
just
the
the
time of
case of
this
the
recording, it's
Mondays.
just Monday. But I made this day as best as I could because I did everything I had to do. And now I'm with my friend, and we're doing a YouTube live trying to help people out there. Hopefully, someone could take something positive from this whole message, even though we're 37 minutes in at the moment. But hopefully, you guys have time to watch it. But it's just you have to know that things are going to happen regardless of your plan. Life in the world does not care about your plan. There is no consideration for what you have going on. Things are going to happen regardless. Every day is an unpredictable is it's pretty much unpredictable, and you have to be prepared to handle things when life throws things at you. Of course, easier said than done, but something about self improving is that you have to be able to adapt to things, be formless, be able to go with the flow, take things, just take punches to the brain, to the heart, take punches to the body and the mind and the spirit, and roll with it and take it and okay, how can I make the situation the best possible? You can make every day good if you let it. So, when I first started, actually becoming better, I had to clean up my nutrition. Once I started doing that, I had to get my workouts. I'm still learning better form with some exercises. I still have work to do on that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. I'm not perfect. It takes years. It takes focus, dedication, consistency to actually get your goals right. So I'm still on the journey, and we're still trying to get this YouTube channel going, and it's taking time, of course, but we're gonna get there. But we're staying consistent, and a big thing about self improving is just staying consistent. That's like the biggest thing. People give up, they go back to the old ways. That's why you see like a lot of people who they lose weight and they get healthy, and then they fall off the deep end again. They get fat again, and then they have to get back into the gym. They have to get back eating healthy again, meal prepping. So you can lose your way, but just like Alfred said in Batman Begins, "Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves back up." Very important quote. Batman can teach you many things, but
Yeah.
it really is how you handle situations that defines who you are. It's actually you can make any day a bad day, or you can choose to make it a good day. And part of self improving is knowing that things are going to happen regardless of your plan to improve. You could watch as many YouTube videos as you want, but when life hits you, and it will, no matter what you think, or no matter how hard you try to hide from it, you must try to adapt and prepare for what's coming, no matter what it may be, the best you can. That way, the hit won't be as hard because at least you'll be a little more prepared. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, people out there, right? Listen, people out there are gonna, and just like me, just like Andrew, we're all gonna be going through life, and something is gonna happen. Who knows what it is? I don't, I don't know. Someone in West Guam is gonna be attacked by a military somewhere, and it doesn't matter what it is. There's just things that are out of our control that are gonna just happen to us, right? But it's what we do is what our actions are, and what we can get from this to get through to the other side, right? Something could happen. Let's say for an example, um, let's say for an example, let's say Andrew gets an eviction notice, right? Andrew gets an eviction notice on his house or on his, wherever he's living. Now, Andrew, there's two things that Andrew could do. One, he could be very upset and he could be like, "Oh no, I'm losing my house. I don't know what to do. I thought I paid the money for whatever. I thought I did this, blah blah blah. Oh no, what am I gonna do? Everything. I feel like everything's just falling apart and crumbling around me. Everything's against me." He could be like that, or he could be like, "All right, so if I'm getting this eviction notice, I have this amount of days to pack up my things and get out. So I need to find another place to go. I need to find another place to stay that I can that is affordable and that I can be able to get all my stuff and get it over there as quickly as I can without getting into any trouble of being here and blah blah blah." And so, do you see the difference? There's Andrew A, that is sulking and being very depressed and not actually trying to figure out a solution and just having, feeling that he's a victim and everything's against him. Or Andrew B, that's like, okay, so this is the situation I'm in. What can I do? Where am I going to go? How am I going to do it? And how much time do I have? These are the same person but two different mindsets. And we've talked about both mindsets already in this stream. But the thing is that everyone is a lot of 90, like 89% of people in the world right now are A, and then the other 11% are B, and we're part of that 11% because there are times where sometimes we feel like we could be a little bit of A, but B is where you want to be because things are going to happen to everyone. Things are going to, there's things that are just out of your control that you can't fix, but there are things that you can control, and the things that you can control, you need to be responsible for, not just only, making sure that they happen, the things that you can control happen, but what you do after something happens. So, the consequences to your actions. Andrew, let's say Andrew did not pay his monthly thing, right? And so he's getting evicted. So now he's got, okay, so my consequences of my actions, I didn't pay. Now I'm getting kicked out. So now I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to have a plan. I need to be able to do this, and I need to not have that situation happen to me again, so I don't have to continuously move and not have an actual place to stay for a long period of time. A lot of people, they don't do that. They just sulk and they're like, "Oh, it's because my job, they hate me, they didn't pay me and blah blah blah." It's like, no, it's you didn't do something somewhere and it screwed you up. People don't people don't take responsibility for their actions that they do. They don't they don't look at the consequences to the actions that they're going to make and the actions that they do make, and they don't act upon certain things. And I said this, I think I said this when we talked to Steve the Dean in our podcast. You can definitely check it out on the channel. It was a great time. I think I said to him that people need to go through trauma to really, get into, to really find themselves and to really push. I think I said something to that extent, and he said maybe not trauma, but he kind of agreed with what I was saying, but he explicitly talked about trauma. And I agree with him that it's not always trauma, but it's just an event, some sort of event, regardless if it was a trauma induced event or just an event that is shifting, their perspective or their day to day. And it's something that people, that they need to react to, and they need to and push through. Some people, when an event happens to them, they tend to be tumbled upon on that event. They let the event tumble upon themselves and they get crushed by it. Where some people, they spin around it and go over it and they get through it. Some people that just don't. But that's pretty much what I'm trying to get at here, trying to have come across. You guys need to, and sometimes we got to do the same thing. Sometimes we have to learn it too, because like we said earlier, we're going through the motions. We are just ordinary dudes, pretty much ordinary dudes that just know things, and we're just going through life just the same as you. And sometimes we stumble, sometimes we excel, but everyone has to go through this. And so certain events happen, we need to know the situation, get over the situation, and be better. Some
Right.
people, they can't, but
And when it comes to the opposite sex, because a lot of people have trouble in their dating lives, especially men. But the thing about that is that when you know yourself and who you are, things are going to get better for that as well, because you're in a right state of mind, and then you'll have a better chance meeting someone out there that in a healthy way. 'Cause a lot of guys don't know who they are, what they want, and they meet women that also don't know who they are, what they want, and the guy has poor leadership, and it ends up a disaster, or it just ends up a very mundane, boring life, and it doesn't really go anywhere. But the truth is, when you understand yourself and know who you are, and actually and you actually develop a confident persona of yourself, and an identity that you perceive yourself to, well, not perceive, but you actually are, and create your own identity for yourself. Any woman will know that they'll see that you're a character, you're a man of character, and you have principles, values, morals, things that you stand by, things that you're going to do no matter what. This is just who you are, and they're going to respect that, and they're going to like you for it. But you got to get to a certain point where you actually are who you say you are. You could fake it till you make it, but you have to make it at some point. And the opposite sex will realize that, and you'll get proper feedback by the behaviors of how others treat you compared to how you treat yourself. If you're treating yourself correctly, people will treat you the same way. I don't mention dating too much because really, I mean, for a man, life is not about women. Yeah, it's about who you are and what you want. Women are just a byproduct of the man you are. And if you are that guy, and if you're always working to be that guy, and you're staying consistent, you're always improving in a healthy, balanced way, and every day you're trying to get better, even if it's a little, even if it's like 0.1%, at least you're making that effort, then you'll have better chance with the opposite sex, and you'll understand yourself better. You'll create your own way of saying things, your own style, your own moves. You don't have to copy other people's pickup lines on the internet. You could actually make your own. You could have your own identity. Like I say so many things, and girls have said, I've never heard a guy say something like that before. And I said, yeah, that's because it's me. I am not anyone
I just mean
you've never met anyone like me before. I've never met anyone like me before, and you're never gonna meet anyone like me again. So don't mess it up, girl. Because if you do,
girl.
so, but a lot of people don't have, because I don't care if I get flaked on, really. Like, I don't care, they're lost, kind of. But it takes a long time to get to that point, and you have to go through some hardships, and you have to go through, you have to get through time. I mean, I'm still improving too. I'm still a student. Another thing is you have to understand you're always going to be a student no matter what. You could be a master at some things in some sections of life, but you're never going to be a master in all things. It's just never going to happen. All you can really do is work every day to become point whatever percent better than you were yesterday. And you're going to go, as you keep going, you're going to discover new things, and one thing adds to the next, and you're just going to keep going.
Yeah, there's and even with masters, right? They can even learn things that maybe they didn't even think about. There's because regardless if you're a master at many things or not that many things, you learn something every day. The day that you don't learn something, you're probably dead. And that's just how it is. Everyone is going to learn something. And so even if you become a master at nutrition, there might be something that you might not have thought about that, that you learn and you're like, "Oh, this actually helps. This is good." And now you have something new to your arsenal of things that you know, right? There's always something to learn. And everyone, regardless if they're a master at something or not, they should be constantly willing and uh and just striving to learn. They need to understand things. They need to uh, focus on specific topics. They need to learn and educate themselves and to just have more knowledge of not just like a focused like strand of things, but as many topics as possible. They need to learn all these things. Maybe not all at once. Maybe that'll be a little too overwhelming for some people, but just getting some knowledge from a bunch of different things every day can build up over time and exponentially grow the things that you learn. And by doing that, you can become a master at certain things. The things that you're the best at, you might become a master at those things, but that doesn't mean that you know everything. It means that you just know what works best. And maybe there's something else that might work as well that you didn't think about that could be there too. That once you learn it, now you can say, oh, now I learned this. Now it reinforces the fact that I am a master at this. And you can continuously learn new things and progress. There's no real endpoint to learning. It just continues to go. And it's the same thing with self improvement. The same thing. You continue to grow, and there's no stop to that. There is none.
All right, so make sure you guys are staying disciplined, staying consistent, always trying to become better, humbling yourself to know that you are one with the world and you actually have to go with it and you have to understand things, you have to take things slow, but also, you have to put in the work, but you also have to, relax for a little bit and avoid the ultimate sedation all the time. Find time to understand who you actually are compared to what people say you are, or how you can change your identity to what you really know what to believe, which is you. You can actually try to incorporate different things and switch up the patterns and the behaviors, and you can make yourself into the ultimate version of yourself at all times. But you have to at least try to become better. You have to take that step and know that maybe I'm not where I want to be, but you have to constantly improve, because you're either going down or you're going up. So you got to choose which way you're going to go. Choose wisely, because you never know when life's going to hit you hard. So always be ready. Try to stay just disciplined and try to, not get too over emotional about things and over analytical, and just kind of let things be what they are and just navigate the world the best you can. Any other thoughts before we end it?
Um, One thing I'm going to say is actually there's two things I want to say. The first thing I want to say is if you are looking to get into better improving your nutrition and you want to really like focus on eating high quality foods, I really advise you to go into our description of the stream when we're done, and or if you're watching this on playback when the video's over, go down into the description. We have an affiliate link to ButcherBox. I really suggest that you go there and you get yourself subscription to ButcherBox. They're very great. The quality of the meat is awesome, and you can get so many different types of cuts and so many different types of uh, just species of meat. You can get chicken, you can get beef, you can get pork, you can get seafood. Even you can get like stuff like salmon. There's so many different types of things on there, and if you're really wanting to get a good start on improving your life and improving the quality of the foods that you eat, definitely go there. It's great stuff. I have a video of me unboxing it on the channel. Sorry about that. You can go there and watch me unbox it, and then I have a couple shorts of me trying out some of the stuff. The last thing I want to say is, if you've watched this and you watched this all the way through and you listened to what we had to say, really put in some of the things that we've talked about. Go into our other videos. Really listen to what we're trying to say. Listen to the messages that we're trying to convey to you, and really put in that effort. And then come back to this video and let us know. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how long ago or how long in the future this is. But come back to this video after doing a lot of the stuff that we talk about, either in the stream or any of the other videos that you go to after. And definitely let us know what you've learned and what has worked and what it hasn't what hasn't worked for you. And maybe we can improve upon that too. Maybe we can get good feedback from you guys, and maybe we can improve some of the things that maybe that worked for us but didn't work for you. What worked for you that wasn't working for us, so on and so forth. Let's get a conversation going. I don't care how long in the future that'll be. We'll still be here doing it, so it doesn't matter. But definitely go and do that.
Right, guys. So make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you've not already. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about the concept of self improvement and everything. And you could donate to the Cash App if you want to support the channel. We're going to see you guys in the next video.